everybody. Welcome back to Wander with Bree. I'm Bree, and it's so good to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 2, and thank you to all of you that joined for episode 1. Ollie wants to thank you too. That was so fun. You guys were so wonderful and encouraging, and even I had a few people reach out and tell me that they tried some new things. Shout out to Chloe and to Claudia. Thank you so much for letting me know that you're trying new things. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you guys. And I'm just super excited to continue to grow this channel and show you guys different ways to use AI in your own lives. So today we're going to talk about something that I'm super excited about. I've been geeking out for the past week, looking at all of these things, but we're going to look at how to use AI for travel planning. Um, so I specifically am going to go through 4 different applications slash websites that will help you plan your travel. And by the end of this video, hopefully you will feel excited and encouraged to go jump on and start planning some travel of your own. Maybe you'll even come up with some ideas of places that you never really knew you wanted to go to. One of my girlfriends the other day said she was going to the Galapagos. That's cool. That's been on my bucket list for a long time. I don't know how to plan a trip to the Galapagos. So maybe one of these sites will help you plan your Galapagos trip. So let's first talk about how I used to do my travel planning. And for this example, I'm going to use my trip to Japan. So I spent 14 days in Japan by myself, which I don't know. I don't know that I recommend that. Maybe 10 days, 7 to 10 days when you're alone in a place like Japan. It could just feel kind of isolating. So maybe just a slightly shorter trip would have been good for me. The way that I have always planned my trips is I have used the trifecta, the Holy Trinity, if you will. I have used Excel, good old Excel. Thank you, cousin Deb, for teaching me how to organize my trips that way. And then I also use TripIt. I use the TripIt Pro so that I can track my travel and all of that stuff, all sort of in this grid line. And I'll show you guys a clip of what TripIt looks like. I've always liked TripIt just because it's the easiest way to share and get updates on your trips, specifically your flights. When I was in Greece 2 years ago, I found out my flight was delayed through TripIt, not through the airline. So I trust TripIt to tell me if my gate is changing. It has gate maps. It has all sorts of things. I cannot tell you how much I love it. But it might be getting canceled after the things I'm going to introduce you to today. So again, Holy Trinity, Excel, TripIt, and then Google My Maps. Google My Maps helps you to set up exactly where you're going to go ahead of time. And it also gives you the links and the locations all in one map. And then it kind of has this really cool key along the side. So we'll hopefully I can insert in a clip here for you so you can see that too. So I'll put in a little clip for you. So for me, those 3 have been incredibly helpful. However, when I was planning my trip to Japan, it felt like a full-time job. I had no idea what I was doing. And when I would look at a map, I wouldn't understand if the word that was in front of me, because it's, translated from Japanese and Japanese characters into Roman characters, I think is the right way to say it, the Roman alphabet. And so none of the words made sense to me. I didn't understand if I was looking at a church, if I was looking at a park, if I was looking at a restaurant. I didn't have any context for what I was looking at. So that was really complicated. And I didn't necessarily know how to search for things. So planning out my trip was a combination of using those 3 and then just Googling like crazy, looking at people's blogs, looking at other travel companies and what their plans were and trying to like pick and choose what I liked from that. And so it was really complex. So to be able to go to maybe one website or one application that can teach me how to do everything, like sign me up. And I will show you what's crazy is as you kind of go through these, some of the things where I just press go, here's how many days, here are the cities I wanted to go to, and I press go, and it brings up this entire experience is exactly what I wanted before. So I will show you how to work through these options, how to work through the different websites, and then how to pick out what might work best for you. Okay, so I want to read for you. I made a list of all of the websites that I typically use when I'm booking travel, and specifically the ones that I used in Japan. So They include, but are again not limited to, because I forgot some things, Agoda, Kayak, Airbnb, VRBO, Viator, Marriott, Get Your Guide, Skyscanner, Google Flights, Reddit, and other people's blog posts about their trips. Oh, and ChatGPT. Now, did I use ChatGPT a year ago? No. I don't even know if I knew about ChatGPT or if it was really even a thing then that people could comfortably use. Now, there is a website that I used to use called Mezi, Mezi, a long time ago, but it felt really limited. This was like 2017, 2018. And then, of course, doing my research on it, I found out that Mezi was actually sold to American Express. So that's interesting. If you want to know more about that, let me know. I do kind of like the idea of being like a little travel tech reporter. So if you want any of that stuff, just please leave a note in the comments. Please leave lots of notes in the comments. That's a good thing for me. Yeah, so now if I could go to one website that has everything, sign me up. And let's be honest, what I'm probably going to do for a little while is use these new AI websites and then use them in tandem with what I'm used to doing until I'm certain that I'm going to get the unique experience that I want for myself. To the first website / application that I got into. It's actually my favorite one. It's sort of tied a little bit with Trip Planner AI, but this first one is called Ask Leila or Layla. And this one, if you were to sort of take all of the applications and put them in a row, this is the one that's like Hollywood. So it's got a lot of interesting big name investors and a lot of money that's gone into this app. And I think it is super user friendly. It's also really daydreamer friendly. And you'll see when I sort of walk you through it here in a sec. But I like this one a lot. I definitely will be using this one in the future. So let's check that out. First up, we have Layla. Layla uses GPT-3 technology, making it a highly advanced travel AI. And what's cool about Layla is its partnership with big names like Paris Hilton, TripAdvisor, Skyscanner, Kayak, Viator, and Get Your Guide. And this AI offers a unique interface that feels much more personal and more tailored to your own preferences. So here is the landing page of their website. You see that there's a search bar there, and there's also 4 prompts that they give you to start you off. We're going to click on Build Me an Itinerary. It's a hard word, itinerary. Anyway, so again, they're going to start us off with a couple of prompts, or we can fill something into the search bar if we want to. For our cases today, we are going to go ahead and look at Japan, just to compare how easy this is compared to what I used to do. We're going to go ahead and go for 2 weeks, and then we'll go ahead and tell them where we want to go. Now, one thing that's interesting that I've noticed, that the longer the trip is on this app, the slower it is to generate an itinerary. So you are seeing it a little bit in real time here of how slow it can be. Now, it is pulling up, information from across the web, so it's not going to be super fast, but it is really incredible how much information it pulls up. Clicking on one of the adventures here, it takes you directly to Get Your Guide. So this app will take you to hotels, bookings for events, and generate a map. And the other interesting thing that it does is it generates social media. So this is the only application that I've used that will actually pull up social media. Now, I did spend a little bit of time clicking on things like Ask Leila about this video. I think I clicked it like 10 times at that point, and it took a little while to generate. This app really is not very well curated, I don't think, when it comes to working on the web. I think the phone application is significantly better. It definitely was not optimized for this, but once you do click on it, then it does give you some additional information and some additional social media things that you can check out. I don't know about you guys, but for me, a huge portion of how I plan my trips, or how I decide what trips I want to go on, is things that I find on social media, and of course on TikTok, if you look at one thing, then you get 300 things served to you through the algorithm, because it's like, oh, you're interested in Tokyo? Here are 555 things about Tokyo. So clicking through here now, I just want to show you what each day looks like. So it's split into morning, afternoon, evening, and bedtime. It gives you options for where to go, where to stay, And you can just kind of scroll through adjacent cities if maybe that you hadn't added them to your trip. Maybe you want to add them to your trip. So that's a really interesting sort of all-inclusive option of how to plan a trip and what other cities maybe you want to explore. To note, you can't get from day 1 to day 14 easily. You either have to use the arrow keys on your keypad or you have to scroll on your trackpad. Otherwise, you can't get back and forth. Super weird, but whatever. Leila's strengths lie in its ability to provide a more personalized travel experience. Honestly, it feels like having a knowledgeable friend helping you plan your trip. However, it might be a little bit overwhelming for those who prefer a straightforward, no-frills approach, and I promise I have another one of those coming up that I think that you'll like if that's the way you're already feeling. So on the positive side, I would say that Leila seems personal and fun, again, very daydream friendly. I like the way the actual data comes through. I like the site. I don't like how difficult it is to navigate between the computer and the phone. I would definitely prefer something that's more optimized for my actual screen. I don't love booking.com, so I don't like that it takes you there for hotels, but otherwise I think that's pretty good. I think if you're a pretty casual traveler, it could be a little bit confusing. Just because there are just so many options of things that you can see. You can, look at the social media, you can look at booking.com, you can look at Get Your Guide. I do think that could be a little bit overwhelming. But so far, so good. I really like this site. I think it has a lot of really positive attributes. Don't try to use it on an iPad. Definitely not configured for the iPad very well either. I would recommend using this one specifically on your phone. Or prepare to be maybe a little bit frustrated at how clunky the website can be. Okay, so the next one is WonderPlan. WonderPlan is really interesting too. I mean, let's be honest, all of these are interesting because there's been so much time, effort, and energy that have gone into this. WonderPlan is a lot more basic, a lot more simple. You may kind of need to know exactly what you need. Maybe a little bit less off the beaten path experiences than maybe you're going to see in some of the other apps. But this one could be a really great place to start. So let's go ahead and get into this one too. So WonderPlan AI is a decent bare bones solution that caters more to the masses. So if you prefer a simpler, more straightforward planning process, WonderPlan might be for you. It's similar to booking platforms like Booking.com or TripAdvisor. Okay, so let's start off on their main page. They've got options like a blog, a trip planner, deals, which are interesting, and feedback. So let's go ahead and get started. This search bar is garbage, let me just say. All of the feedback in any of their blog, their kind of like behind the scenes stuff, all of the feedback is you type in specific places and it just doesn't come up. So that's why I'm showing New York. It was incredibly annoying to try to do Japan. So you'll see a video on Japan right after this clip, but actually getting to search for Japan was incredibly annoying. I had to type in the names of the cities and then sometimes it wouldn't find it and it would tell me it didn't exist. So this part can be a little clunky. So just keep in mind, just be patient with it. Try a few times to search for different things and see what it comes up. It seems like this would be a great planner for within the United States. Outside the United States, maybe less so. So anyway, so here's New York. I love that it comes in with this map here. I love that it shows all the different options on the left-hand side of things that you can do, places where you can go. And then, of course, sort of shows you how you can navigate it. Maybe you don't want to go from point 2 to point 14 on the map in the same day. So that's a really interesting feature that I do like. WonderPlan's main advantage is its simplicity and ease of use. However, I feel like it lacks the personalized touch and detailed insights of more advanced AI platforms and what they offer. It's great for tourists who want a quick and easy way to plan their trip. I would say for a detailed planner, for somebody needing a little bit more, it's just not quite as informative. But in order to get maybe a basic outline of where you might want to go, what you might want to do, this platform, I would say, provides a pretty darn good outline, pretty good idea of what you might want to do. But again, you are going to be getting just an outline, and then you are going to be kind of doing the bits and bobs of putting all your pieces together. It is interesting how it tells you essentially how long the event that you might be doing or tour you might be doing that they utilize Viator for. might be, and then it also tells you how much it costs. Then if you decide that you want to book a place to stay, then you've got booking.com. The other feature that I do really like about this is the map on the right-hand side. That kind of is like Google My Maps for me. So in a way, it does add, an itinerary piece, a review piece, a time piece, cost, and then also map. So it does cover quite a few things. It just doesn't really speak to a creative nature or unique experience. This is basically holding all of Viator and booking.com and a map and maybe reviews, Google reviews or TripAdvisor reviews. Essentially, if you were to think of those platforms, it's kind of shoving them all together. So whereas it provides a really interesting experience just because it's giving you a really good overview, it's just not quite the same as something like Leila. So I like that you can download the plan. So this is pretty neat. So if you're planning a 10-day trip to Kyoto, like I have here, it's actually breaking down exactly what you can do in the day. And then you could print it, share it, whatever. For me, I would probably utilize this to then build my trip off of and maybe look at some additional things to kind of fill in the gaps. So overall, would I recommend WonderPlan? Yeah, I think it's a great way to get started. It is super straightforward, not convoluted. The information that you get is clear and concise, easy to read, easy to navigate. You don't get bogged down in all the details that you do in some other ones. But on the other side, it's not exactly travel advice, right? So if they're telling you to go to the Tokyo Disneyland and go to the Sky Tower on the same day, which it does, that's not going to work. So you are going to need more support. So this is a very good spine, a very good outline, but you'll definitely need some additional support here to really be able to travel comfortably, confidently, like you're going to have a good experience. You're going to need a little bit more support, knowing what to book, when to book it, and how. But overall, this is pretty good. Okay, so the next website or application that you can use is called tripplanner.ai. When I first started playing with this, I didn't really like it. But then when I gave it a little bit more time, I kind of started to figure out there's some really interesting benefits to this that I hadn't noticed before. So let's go ahead and get into that. So this third website that we are looking at is called Trip Planner AI, and this one stands out with this integration of free tours, which is super interesting, and not any of the other sites I looked at had this. So that makes this a really budget-friendly option. However, given that, it also doesn't quite offer the same level of detail or personalization that you get, again, from something more like Leila, Ask Leila. But let's get into it and check it out and see if it is worth your time or not. Starting from their webpage, it's really simple. Just click Create a New Trip, and then select the cities you want to go to. Like the other websites that I liked, or like Leila as well, you can pick multiple cities on multiple dates, which I like. Select the kind of activities that you want to do, and then also tell them how many people are going to be going, if you're a couple, friends, or family, which I think is interesting. It didn't seem to make a difference when I played around with this, but choose your budget level, and then also tell them which meals you want to be included, and if you have any specific notifications there, like vegan or vegetarian, or considerations, I should say, not notifications. So then the first thing that you're going to do is select your hotel, or at least come through an idea of where your hotels may be, in and around the area where you think you want to stay. You can skip it and not select a hotel at this point if you don't want to select a hotel, or you can just go ahead and select it just to give yourself a starting point. Okay, so now after what feels like 20 years, it has generated a trip for us. So again, showing the map on one side and the activities and the breakdown on the other. I love this feature. This is really great. Again, for me, it could almost replace Google My Maps. And then this sort of gives a little bit more information than we've been seeing, and also gives reviews and things like that. Using Get Your Guide, you can sort of scroll through and see what your different options are, and then any specific details and reviews of things you can do. Coming back to the main itinerary, I want to show you these free walking tours. So you just click on this orange button, and then it brings you here to this freetour.com and shows you all of these different things that you can do on your trip for free. So it shows the city, the date, the price, and then the rating, which it doesn't really look like you can set much of a filter there, but you can choose morning, afternoon, evening. And just to show you one example, here is one of the tours that are offered on freetour.com. I would say even if you don't use any of these AI travel planners, use this. It looks like you've got things all around the world that you could do. I wish I had seen this years ago, but this is incredible. Okay, so coming back and looking back at the itinerary, I want to show you one other thing. If you decide you want to share it, you can share it right here, copy the link, send email, X, Twitter, whatever, WhatsApp, you can send it through here. Or you can also click to invite trip mates. You can invite people via an email address here. Lastly, I want to take you and show you how to show hotels. So you click on Find Hotels, and it is incredibly slow. So let me stop it and speed it up here for you. Here we are. You've got hotel suggestions. You can make edits to the top of what date and max price. And then once you find something you like or want more details on, you'll click on View Details, and then it will take you to the booking.com site to book. Actually, one final thing I did want to point out to you. Once you scroll through the entire itinerary, you'll actually see your budget breakdown. So you get your total amount, your activities and food, and the cost of transport. So this does offer a little bit more than a few of them. If you do regenerate itinerary, I wanted to play around with that. You can either add a destination or change a few details and then have it regenerate a new itinerary for you if you just don't like the options that were given to you. So there's an option down here called Ask Trippy, and that's more of what we're used to with ChatGPT and generative AI. But on this particular site, I just want to give you a warning that if this happens to you, it's not you. The site is still in its infancy. I feel like everybody is just rushing to get to be the travel AI planner. But anyway, this doesn't work very well. I clicked one of their pre-generated prompts and it gave me an error. Why? I don't know. You gave me that prompt. It should work. It doesn't work. So I thought, all right, well, are they all like this? So I clicked on another pre-generated prompt and this one actually worked. So it's possible that if I clicked on it a third time, it would work again too. I don't know. The other thing is I asked it for hikes and for flights. It was able to give me some outdoor activities, and that was okay. I don't really know that they're truly hikes, like walking up in a mountain or going up hills kind of hike. But I don't know Italy at all, so I would have to go to another site to figure that out. Honestly, I'd probably go to ChatGPT. But then the last piece of this is I also asked it to book a flight because I wanted to show you how this works. Pretty much none of these websites do flights well at all, even having worked with Kayak, most of them. And it gave me some outdoor activities. So don't plan on booking any of your flights through these sites quite yet. So there you go. So overall review of this website, along with the other two, is that it's good, it's helpful, it's meant to be used in tandem with some other things and creates an excellent backbone or planning spine for your trip. I love the user interface. I think it's really easy to use. I think it's not clunky at all. I love that it allows you to change dates and share it really easily without having to have a premium membership. I don't like that it really only connects you to booking.com and get your guide, although it is also giving you some free travel opportunities, which this is the only website that we've seen so far that gives you any sort of options with freetours.com. So absolutely love that. So yeah, I would say this ranks probably number 2 out of the 3 that we've looked at so far, with, of course, Leila being the number 1 and this being number 2. So keep following along. Let's check out our very last one. Okay, so this one is not a website. It is just an app. This is tripplanner.ai. And this one is interesting because there is like a paid membership option, essentially. I would say for avid travelers, it might be worth it. because this seems like it could potentially be the application that replaces Google My Maps and TripIt. But again, I still need to kind of like play around and see. And I would love to see if any of you guys have played with these and kind of what your own experiences have been, because again, I'm still learning that all of these applications even exist. And if you guys would like another video of how I typically do my travel planning with sort of my older, clunkier ways, I am more than happy to introduce you to that, make a video on that too, because I will definitely be using both for a little while. So let's go ahead and get into iPlan.ai, and we'll talk a little bit more about the features that they have. Right off the bat, I love that this is an app. It is super easy to search, to use. Each step is clearly delineated up at the very top. You're telling it exactly what days, what time of the day you're available, where you want to go, who's going, and your interest level. So this is kind of an interesting little toggle thing, but you tell them what you're interested in, and then you go ahead and click next after choosing your budget, and then you generate your itinerary. Okay, so going with the Tokyo theme here, easy to scroll up and down. Yet another example of Tokyo Skytree and Disneyland being on the same day, which, okay, not excellent advice, but you can click right on it, go directly to Google Maps and then reviews. So that's also awesome. You could use that in tandem with Google My Maps if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You can scroll from directly within the site itself to see the dates and to see the different opportunities that you have. The other thing that's really nice about this is you have it with you on the go. So I know that just sounds silly to say, but some of these websites don't have apps yet. Yes, I'm not going to complete your survey, but thank you so much. So yeah, you can go ahead and navigate through the actual map to see where the locations are and what your plan looks like based on the map, or you can do it on that initial page that we started on, which is super, super convenient. So let's say you are planning this trip with somebody else and you are interested in sharing it with somebody. And here comes the wah wah bad part. So this actually costs money. It's not horrible. It's, $1 a month essentially is not the end of the world, but it's also not the most convenient. So let's say then that you want to take the plan that you already have in place and it's been saved, but you decide that you want to maybe change some things about it. Then you can come back into your trip itself and then edit your plan. And then once you edit your plan, it'll take you back through those same initial steps that it took you through in the beginning. I would recommend doing this a few times just to kind of get exactly what you want, move those little toggles back and forth because I don't know their algorithm behind it or exactly how important it is. Then you can go ahead and see your new matches. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is they offer restaurants, activities, no flights, and no hotels. So pretty basic. iPlan.ai is ideal for detailed planners who love to travel with groups. Its collaborative features are a big plus, but the downside is the cost, as a paid membership service is necessary to share. But for avid travelers, it might be worth the investment. Okay, so there you have it. 4 different AI-supported, AI-driven travel applications and websites that you can use to plan your own travel. Now, I will leave a list of all the links down below so you guys can access them. Please check them out. Give us your feedback. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, please, so that you'll know every time you get a notification. Heads up, we are headed on our honeymoon over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to do my very best to pre-record and make sure that you have videos over the next couple of weeks. But if you don't, just know we are lounging on the beach in Maui, being newly married. And I will come back with, I'm sure, 1,000 ideas and a lot of Hawaii content if you're interested in that. So in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe for more travel tips and more information and more AI learning. So thanks again for being part of Wander with Bree, and we'll see you next time. Bye.